so now we're going to talk about how we can program multiple LANs and WANs. Okay, so the LAN stands for local area network, so that's your internal network. That's been discussed in other videos. And your WAN is the wide area network. So to keep it simple, the LAN is effectively an output from the gateway or the controller, and the WAN is essentially an input. Okay, so if we wanted to have more than one provider, let's say for example you had a client who needed to have a continuous internet feed and they wanted to make sure that that was never going to drop, then you would potentially have two providers, and of course you would then need two separate WAN inputs. So of course if we needed multiple LANs, that might be used for a guest network or something like that. But it's all completely configurable on the front panel. So what we've done, as you can see, which is similar to the other videos, I'm connected to the controller via the E5 port, which is the one on the far right. Now if you look on the front panel, you'll see that it's a dedicated LAN, and that's never going to change. Similarly, on the far left hand side of the front panel, not the far left hand side mind you, but the far left hand side of this bank of ports is a dedicated WAN port, which again is labelled Etho1. It's never going to change. Now the three ports that are in the middle, if you look on your unit, you'll see that they're labelled LAN/WAN, and what that means is that they are configurable to either a separate LAN, so they could be part of LAN 1 that already exists by default, or you could create LANs 2, 3 and 4 if you wanted to. Each one could be an individual LAN, and similarly we could configure them to be a WAN, so you could either have, say, 1 LAN and 4 WANs, or 4 LANs, 1 WAN, or anything in between basically. So let's go to the software, and we're going to show you how that we've actually programmed the unit to be configured in a specific way. So you've obviously got the unit on already. That's been covered in another video, so if you need to know how to set the thing up, then obviously check that video out. So looking at the programming menu, we're going to click on network and then interface designate, which basically means the front panel port designation. So when you click on that, it opens up a window, and you can see what we've got here is a series of sections basically. We've got the extra interface, local interface and free interface. So what we're basically looking at, you can see the WAN on the left hand side, WAN 1, and in the middle is LAN 1 there. So, and if you'll see, each one shows which ports are dedicated to that particular LAN or WAN. So to keep it simple, because the process is the same whether you're creating new LANs or WANs, we're just going to create a second LAN, because in this make-believe scenario that we're doing here, we're going to create a separate LAN network for our guests, because we want to keep them separate. So what you do is you come across to here and you click on this edit button, which is the little blue pencil. What that does is opens up a pop-up window, and you can now see all the Ethernet ports that you've got there available. If you select the one that you want to detach from LAN 1, in this case I'm just going to pick Etho3 for no particular reason, which is Ethernet port 3 on the front panel. Yep. We click save, and now what you'll see is that Etho3 has been moved from LAN 1 into a free agent, if you like, so into the free zone. Now what we can do with that port now is we can either create a new WAN with it, or we can create a new LAN with it. So in this case we're going to create a new LAN. So looking back at the software, you'll see that there's two buttons have now appeared, which are the orange add plus buttons, and that means that we've now got the ability, because we've got a free port, those buttons become available. So to create a new LAN, you click above the local interface, you'll see there the pop-up window appears. Etho3 is now available to us. We can select that port, click save, and now you'll see LAN 2 has been created. So that's what we've done, is Etho3 now is its own dedicated LAN port. Okay, so, and it works exactly the same way for the WANs. So, and you can jumble things around, but obviously what you've got to remember, the key point is you've got to detach the port that you want to move from the LAN or the WAN that it belongs to before you can create the new LAN. So if you want to take it back to default and you need to remove them, just looking back at the software, you see there's a delete button here. So if you make a mistake or you want to make a change, just click delete like that. It will ask you, are you sure you want to do this? Yes, I want to unbind this from that LAN. Click save, and it will become a free agent, and then you can re-import that port back to one of the existing LANs or WANs should you want to. So that covers the basis of multiple LANs and WANs. So check out the other videos, there's an awful lot more to learn. So thanks for watching.